Hello everyone and welcome to this little video that I'm going to make about WildStar. Now WildStar launches this week, June the 3rd it goes live. It is technically live now, if you count all the realms appear to be down right now. Early access hasn't gone well, but it very rarely does go well in MMOs. I'm downloading the patcher as we speak, and I've seen everyone having issues. There's long server queues, not enough servers at launch. That's a big issue. That's quite a big thing. Don't make the Final Fantasy XIV mistake. So anyway, we'll get back to the topic of this video. We'll gloss over the issues that we're having in early access. Hopefully they'll have them fixed for launch. That's the problem with only giving you 3 days early access, is that they can't get them up for launch, but we'll give them time. I mean, hopefully it's not like a Final Fantasy XIV, a Realm Reborn situation. So we're here to discuss WildStar, and we're going to discuss whether or not WildStar can succeed. Can it be a successful MMO? We've seen a few games come out recently that have completely failed in the market, and by failed we mean free-to-play conversions. We look at Star Wars: The Old Republic, of course, games like Terra, you know, The Secret World. I really like that game. I want to play that. I really do want to play that. When I get my new PC, I'm going to play The Secret World. That's what I'm going to do when I get my new PC, because it should be able to handle it. New PC is coming in 2 weeks, and getting it built especially. I'm not going to build a PC anymore. I've decided I don't want to do that because it's too fiddly and too time consuming for me. I'm getting lazy, getting older, getting lazier, and I'm just going to get one built for me. So it's going to come in maybe a week or two it's going to take to get that new PC. So hopefully we'll be able to play The Secret World. But we'll talk about back to WildStar. Can it find that success? It's too early to judge the Elder Scrolls Online. It's only been out for just over, what, 2 months now, the Elder Scrolls Online. This is its 2nd month being out. It's too early to judge that as a success or failure. MMOs, you don't judge them by launch sales. You judge them maybe 6 to 8 months down the line, 6 to 8 months after the release. Are they maintaining a stable population? Do they have a stable subscriber base? That is the time to judge an MMO as a success or failure. So Elder Scrolls Online does have a lot of issues, but it's hard to judge it as a success or a failure because you just don't know yet. Will it be able to maintain the subscriber base, or will it fade away? I get the suspicion that it will fade away, but can WildStar does have a lot going for it as a game. I mean, it does have I quite like the graphical style. A lot of people, it's not to everyone's taste, but I kind of like the cartoony style, and I like the goofy kind of nature of it. I quite like that, to be honest with you. It is quite immature, you could argue, but I'm an immature person, so I like it. I like immature stuff. It does seem a little bit immature, I guess, but I'm a fan of that. I'm a big fan of that kind of style. I like the art style. I like the cartoony style, I have to say. It works pretty well within the context of the game, I think, and the tone that they're trying to set. I think that works out well. Gameplay is pretty decent. I mean, I didn't get massively far. I think I got to level 18 during open beta as a spell slinger. I did try out a few other classes. I quite liked the Stalker. I quite like that. I didn't like the Medic so much. The Warrior was alright as well. I quite liked the Warrior. That was okay, I thought. But again, those are the classes I tried, because I don't really get very far in beta weekends because I work at the weekend. I don't get a chance to get very far in the game, so that's the problem with me for beta weekends. I didn't get the time to play during open beta either. When it was open beta for what, 9 days, I didn't get the chance to play it. So what I tend to do is try out a lot of classes and then decide I'm probably going to be a spell slinger, because that's the one I stuck with for longer. So that's probably what I'm going to be. I want to be a healer, I think. I quite like the idea of being a healer in WildStar. I didn't like the Medic, so I'm going to try a spell slinger. That's what I'm going to be, a spell slinger healer. Should be a decent class, I think. It's pretty fun. It's kind of like a commando or a mercenary in SWTOR. It's a bit like that, if you ask me. how it plays. But again, the big thing about WildStar is that it does have this path system. The path system is quite interesting. Some of them are better than others, I have to say. Exploration I didn't really like. Didn't really like exploration. It was alright to start off with, but you just get bombarded with quests, and it's like, I'm trying to level here, and that could be a problem down the line if it's not interesting enough. I didn't find the crafting system particularly interesting either. But the paths are pretty interesting. I guess if you're lazy, you could just take the warrior path and just go and kill things. If you're lazy. Science looked quite interesting. It had some quite interesting abilities. Some interesting perks that you got for leveling it up. And of course the path system works on a totally separate leveling system from the game, from your character level. You've got your path level and your character level. Leveling I thought was okay. It seems to suffer from that MMO problem of being quite annoying at times, of just having quest hubs, and I quite like the idea of adventure zones, but I never really got the chance to experience them just yet. They might be something that I might like, so I'll reserve judgment on leveling, because I didn't do a massive amount of leveling. Another thing I didn't do a massive amount of was PvP. Didn't do a massive amount of that, so again, no real opinions on PvP. Maybe I'll give it a go when I start out as a spell slinger. Don't know what they're like in PvP. Please be overpowered, please be overpowered. No, I hope they're not overpowered, to be honest. I don't want to be overpowered in PvP, because you tend to make yourself a target if you're overpowered. You want to be kind of under the radar. That's why I like playing rogues generally, because we can just sneak in and do combat on our own terms. So I'm going to give that a go when it comes out. Certainly going to give PvP a chance. One of the big things that I think that really, you can argue, will work for it and will work against it is WildStar as a franchise doesn't mean anything to anyone. You know, it's a brand new franchise. It's not attached to a big name. If we take a look at, you know, the recently released Elder Scrolls Online, you know, Elder Scrolls is a massive franchise. It's attached to a big franchise. Look at Star Wars The Old Republic as well, attached to the Star Wars franchise. Even World of Warcraft, when it came out, you know, it was set in the Warcraft universe. You know, Blizzard had built themselves, you know, a Warcraft universe was pre-established before WoW came out. They were pretty successful strategy games, but WildStar has no real history. It's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad side is that it has no brand recognition, so you maybe won't get high initial sales because people don't know about it. You see WildStar on the shelf and you go, what the hell is that? So you might not get that initial kind of hype, whereas you have that name recognition of Elder Scrolls or Star Wars or Warcraft. You know, you have those things that are easily recognizable. You know, Final Fantasy as well, Final Fantasy 14 was the same thing. Again, it has that name that's already established. The flip side to that, the upside to this is, of course, that there's no pressure on it. There is no pressure on WildStar's shoulders because there's no expectations. That's the other good thing about it, is that we don't go in, and I think that's the problem with Elder Scrolls Online, was the fact that it was kind of crippled under the weight of expectations, because people expect a certain standard from their, you know, from Elder Scrolls games. Skyrim set a really high standard, and Elder Scrolls Online just failed to follow that. Even if you look at other games, it's the same thing. They have a lot of pressure on them. There's a lot of hype because people are expecting, again, it to be like Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is a great example of that, and how it just doesn't live up to Skyrim, unfortunately. Can't live up to the previous game. I know it's different developers, it's a different genre technically, but it still has the Elder Scrolls name on the cover. So again, if you don't know that, people who don't know that, people are just looking in a shop and like Elder Scrolls games, say, oh, an Elder Scrolls game, I'm gonna try that. You know, that's a lot of sales are made up that way. You know, people who just don't know, uninformed, and just want to buy things, just want to check things out. It's a great way to get new players into games, is just by having that brand recognition. WildStar doesn't have that. that could be a thing that initially holds it back, but again, the biggest thing it could have going for it is word of mouth, certainly. That's why Warcraft became such a success, because everybody knew someone who played World of Warcraft at some point in their life, and that's how a lot of people get into it. So again, it could find a success in that way, but again, you'd always be cautious about it. Again, so it doesn't have the hype, it doesn't have the history, it does have a few. You know, Carbine Studios is made up of a bunch of really talented people who've made a lot of really interesting games. Certainly, you know, a lot of ex-Blizzard employees, for example. So again, it won't really help it in terms of its branding. The other thing is advertising. I haven't seen WildStar advertised anywhere. I've seen Watch Dogs, which came out recently. I've seen plenty of Mario Kart 8 adverts, but I've never seen any advertising for WildStar. I saw plenty of Elder Scrolls Online advertising, so again, that could be another thing that holds it back. But I think long term, its ability to retain the player base, and I quite like the idea of 40-man raiding. As someone who never played WoW at any point at launch, I only started playing WoW recently. I just started getting into it recently. WoW never really had an appeal for me, to be honest. But I'd like to see what 40-man raiding is like, because it looks pretty fun. To be honest, I get 10 frames per second on my current PC with what's it called, SWTOR in 16-man up. So I really am glad I'm getting a new PC when WildStar comes out, because it's gonna be interesting to see how how the game handles 40 people in one instance, with all those telegraphs and all those spells going off. I want to see that. I want to see that slideshow. I hope it's not a slideshow. Hope it's not like 6 FPS. I really do want to see it. So I'll probably end up. Will I end up leaving SWTOR for WildStar? Probably not. In the long run, I would say no. But I think I'll probably check it out. Probably worth sticking around maybe for a month or two, and certainly checking it out. See if I can get to end game and get some end content done. So throughout the month of June, probably covering a lot of WildStar. Certainly be live streaming it. I'm not going to live stream it tomorrow because I don't know if it'll work. That's the problem. So probably wait a few weeks after launch before live streaming it, because everyone's going to be live streaming it, and you're never going to get any views on Twitch, being just a relatively new Twitch channel that I have. So I'm gonna wait a while before live streaming WildStar. Wait until I get my new PC and have to reinstall everything again. At least I'm ordered the disc, I suppose. That's one of the good things about ordering the disc. At least I don't have to do the patch and download the whole game again. I'm looking forward to that. Reprising my entire Steam library. That is gonna be fun. Entire Steam library of games is gonna be so much fun. It's 137 games in my Steam library, and I have finished 4 of them. Yeah, I finished 4. I have 137. I really need to play more Steam games. So anyway, WildStar, will it be a success? Will it be a failure? Let me know in the comments what you think about WildStar. Do you think it will succeed? Do you think it will be a free-to-play in a year, like Elder Scrolls? I think Elder Scrolls will probably be free-to-play faster. Elder Scrolls will probably sell better, I'd imagine. Probably would have sold better at launch than WildStar, just because it has the name attached to it. But I do think WildStar has potential. I like the fact that the combat is all based on movement. That's pretty nice. It's a decent type of game. It's kind of like the Secret World, and maybe a mixture of kind of Terra and ESO, only much better than ESO, I would say. So again, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of WildStar. Do you think it'll succeed? Do you think it'll be free to play within... It won't be free to play within a month, certainly not. Free to play within a year probably, because again, we probably use 6 to 8 months as the evaluation period for an MMO generally, I would say. But I tend to subscribe 1 month at a time to an MMO, especially a new MMO. You don't want to buy a 6-month sub because you're never sure if you're going to stick with it. You might get bored. I've played a few MMOs that I've liked and I've never stuck with, the Secret World being one of them, Neverwinter being one of them, Final Fantasy XIV. I liked that game, really liked it, but ended up just not sticking with it just because of technical problems. So that was the reason why I left it. I liked the game, I liked it, but it's just not worth committing time and paying a sub to, I thought. So will WildStar be the same? Will it manage to keep that core audience? That is the challenge. That's the challenge that Carbine Studios will face can they keep a hold of their audience? 'Cause I think people will buy it out of curiosity. I'm buying it out of curiosity. You know, PC games are fairly cheap. You can afford to just buy them out of curiosity, but as an MMO is a long-term investment. You know, you got to invest long-term when you're buying an MMO, when you're playing that MMO. You want to think, you know, how is this going to be? How am I going to invest? Am I going to invest months, maybe even years into this game when you're considering buying an MMO? So I always look at it from that point of view. An MMO is a long-term investment for me, and I don't know. The jury's out, if you ask me, so far, but we'll see when it launches. We'll see what launch issues. There will be launch issues. Anyone coming to complain about launch issues, if you played any MMO, it's never had a smooth launch. Okay, I've never ever seen an MMO with a smooth launch. Elder Scrolls Online was okay actually. That was, as launches go, it was alright. SWTOR was alright at launch. It was alright. There's still issues. Few games have been disasters at launch. As long as it's not a total disaster and the majority of people who buy the game can play it, as long as it's not Final Fantasy XIV where for weeks you were told the servers were full, GTFO. As long as it's not that bad, it'll be fine. Don't worry if it's bad at launch. Don't worry if there's issues at launch. I always tell people every MMO has issues at launch. If an MMO has never had issues at launch, it's not an MMO, in my opinion. Every online game has issues. Even Watch Dogs right now is having issues with its online at launch. We'll do a little video on that later on about online games and why the hell do they bother. And we're going to discuss EA. We're going to take a shot at EA soon. So thank you for joining me for this video. If you're going to check out WildStar, I'll see you in game. Maybe I'll see you in game. You can check me out on Twitch TV. I will be live streaming WildStar, not this week though, not this week. We'll give them a few weeks to sort their launch issues, because when we're live streaming I want be guaranteed to a start time at least, so I like that schedule for my live stream to get a little start time and an end time. So thank you for joining me for this video, and we'll see you soon, and goodbye.
I will know of your progress. Duty as further demands. We must speak. Do not yet lay down your burdens. I shall await word of your success.